On the move, changing perceptions, pushing limits. Today's Africa is not framed by the past. A new generation is stepping up, embracing tradition while blazing a new path, giving voice to unique style, connected in ways others before were not. This is where the urban pulse meets creativity and a new culture thrives. This is African Voices.
My Africa is young, beautiful, and innovative. My name is Patrick Mukabi, an artist, Nairobi, Kenya. This is suburbs of Nairobi, and this is one of the places I get a lot of inspiration from. This is fantastic lighting today. Light and shadow makes the image easier to work with. For instance, if I look at the shadow now and the colors, the forms, the reflection of the light from the umbrella, it reflects on the people and everything. That creates a strong piece. So I'm several times. To be an artist is, let's say when I was growing up, it wasn't very serious. My dad was a very good musician, but he went to the corporate world because he told me you will never buy a bed. So I needed to know how to balance real life and creativity and this dream world of art.
He started painting as early as 7 years old, with his mother playing an instrumental role in his journey.
She always told me to do what I liked, what I had passion in, just follow it. My dad always told me to go and work for where he worked at the railways, but I found it too boring. So I talked to my mom and told her, can you please ask him to give me some capital? So I started actually with $20. I went to the cheapest shop in town to look for the cheapest canvas, cheapest paint. Off I went. Yellow. At that time, and I did 10 paintings from that. One of my trips doing the rounds, I met some guy who told me, oh, you're a painter. I think I've seen you. We have a competition running at a gallery. It was Gallery Watatu. Do you have any piece? You can take it there. So I went home that day. I took 2 or 3 pieces and went to see the owner. On the day I arrived, there were about 100 artists. Many artists, a long line, mid-November. My dad comes home for lunch and he tells me, somebody has called my office looking for you. And I went to the gallery. So I reached inside there and the lady, she was called Ruth Schaffner. She was very well known as an art dealer. And she calls me and says, oh, you're Mukabi, we have been looking for you. You got second prize in this competition. Oh my God. And she gave me a check. The check, it was for 35,000 shillings. And then copyright for 35,000 shillings. That's how I started my career. Kandogo.
Afterward, Patrick went on to pursue graphic design at the Technical University of Kenya.
After college, my eye was already looking at a lot of public places. Things I see, things I can translate into. A mixture of things I dreamt around, like stories I would read and do paintings about them. I think also the influence of my paintings and my mom, I think they come together. And women, for me, they tell us how a society lives. Is there wealth? Is there a lot of discrimination? You'll see it first in the women and the children. If there is a lot of freedom again, you'll see it in the women and the children. They are like, for me, the barometer of the society. Secret also is to do a very quick sketch without looking too much, because you never know how people react sometimes. Blocking the head, blocking the body. The more you go over, the more you sharpen the image.
His work has been commissioned for everything from airports to even neighborhood cafes.
Today we are in the middle of Nairobi CBD and Westlands, and we've just come to see Java restaurant where I have some of my paintings. Hello. How are you? Fine, thank you. Okay. So here are some of the paintings I do for Java. It's women in a second-hand market where they recycle plastics, and a smaller one. 2014, it's actually 2014. The series is actually called Mama Plastic, which means plastic ladies. So this one is one of my biggest pieces ever done. I had my studio at the Railway Museum for the last 4 years. It came as a surprise to find a space because I needed a bigger space for students and also my work. The railway, my family runs, everything comes from the railway. My grandfather was a ticket inspector. My dad grew up here. I used to come here when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. We used to live just across the hill. His house was there, and everything happened here. But we can go in and see how the studio is, see if it's okay for visitors today.
Today, Patrick spends a good deal of his time teaching others how to draw and paint at his studio.
Try and get the whole body. 2 years in toiling, working. I've been to almost 23 countries around the world, painting, teaching art, doing workshops, visiting with other artists. Now I teach as a hobby. I teach classwork. I also do a lot of figure drawing with high school and universities. So I go in and help the teacher when it's time for figure drawing. Again, 1 minute, ready? So I teach again in charcoal, in paint, pencil, and sculpture a bit also. I think the necessity brought the idea that it should be an open studio. When I started out in a small studio, I would get people coming in and asking, how can we start as artists? Where can we buy materials? Who can teach us? Because schools can be quite expensive. In your sketchbook, I want you to close your eyes and do a portrait of yourself. Draw a face of yourself with your eyes closed.
And his influence goes beyond the studio.
I used to have a list of what I wanted to do. My first solo show, 10 people came only. It was in a small restaurant. Group shows, I think I've done almost 100. I've done India, Egypt, South Africa, many places, America. I was delivering an illustration. And when leaving, somebody just told me, oh, there are auditions happening up there. Can you go? I said, for what? TV show. And I went up there.
Hi kids, welcome to another session of Having Fun with Art.
So I took a piece of paper and drew a face and put it under the lens. And got some charcoal, which is just outside the compound, and did it something. 2 days later, the phone comes. Ah, you got the part. And it's here now. So that one wasn't in the plan. Yeah, so things happen. As long as you're working, things will happen. Like here we have a shadow kidogo.